How does a college dropout with no clear business model become a billionaire? How does a man who produced nothing, sold nothing, and managed no public funds become the most powerful person in any room he entered? Jeffrey Epstein wasn't just a financier, he was a ghost. He moved between the shadows of Wall Street, the halls of the Ivy League, and the private offices of world leaders. For decades, he built a web of influence so dense that even now, years after his death, the world is still trying to untangle it. Today, we go beyond the headlines. We are looking at the man, the money, and the files that the world's most powerful people don't want us to see. Epstein's story begins with a lie. In the mid-70s, he talked his way into a teaching job at the prestigious Dalton School in Manhattan, despite having no college degree. He taught physics and math to the children of the elite. It was there he learned his most valuable skill, proximity. He met Ellen Greenberg, a parent, and a heavy hitter at the investment bank Bear Stearns. In 1976, Epstein was hired. He rose from an assistant to a limited partner in record time. But in 1981, he was forced out under a cloud of financial irregularities. Most people would have disappeared. Epstein leveled up. He started his own firm, Jeffrey Epstein & Co. His claim, he only managed the money of clients with a net worth of over $1 billion. But there was a problem. No one could ever name his clients, except for one. Then enter Leslie Wexner, the billionaire behind Victoria's Secret. Wexner gave Epstein something more valuable than money: total control. Epstein was given power of attorney over Wexner's entire fortune. And suddenly a man with no track record was living in a $77 million New York townhouse, the largest in Manhattan, owned by Wexner's companies. He was flying a private Boeing 727. He began collecting trophy properties like a game of Monopoly. The Upper East Side townhouse, a fortress of surveillance and strange art. Zorro Ranch, New Mexico, a massive 10,000 square feet estate with its own landing strip. The Paris apartment, located on the prestigious Avenue Foch. And Little St. James, the private island. He was not just living large, he was building a network of blackmail infrastructure. Every house was reportedly wired with cameras, and every guest was a potential file. Epstein didn't work alone. Enter Ghislaine Maxwell, the daughter of a disgraced media mogul. If Epstein was the bank, Maxwell was the gatekeeper. Together, they created a pyramid scheme of abuse. Victims testified that they were recruited with promises of scholarships, modeling career, or simple massage jobs. These young women were then pressured to recruit others. The Little Black Book became the stuff of legend. It contained the contact information for presidents, royalty, Nobel Prize-winning scientists, and tech CEOs. He was just not entertaining them, he was entangling them. In 2008, it almost ended. Epstein was charged in Florida for soliciting minors, but instead of life in prison, he received a sweetheart deal. He served just 30 months in a private wing of a country jail with work release. The lead prosecutor, Alex Acosta, later claimed he was told to leave Epstein alone because he belonged to intelligence. For 10 years, Epstein stayed in the shadow until 2019. Federal prosecutor in New York finally moved. He was arrested at Teterboro Airport. The world waited for the names to drop, but they never did. On August 10, 2019, while the cameras in his high-security cell malfunctioned and his guards fell asleep, Jeffrey Epstein was found dead. The official ruling suicide, the public's opinion anything but. In early 2024, the Epstein Files were unsealed, thousands of pages for a civil lawsuit. The internet looked for a client list, but what they found was more complex. The documents didn't provide a list of criminals, they provided a map of complicity. Names like Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, and Stephen Hawking appeared in depositions. Some were there for dinner, others were accused of much worse. But here's the chilling reality. The tapes Epstein allegedly recorded in his homes have never been found. Much of his fortune remains tied up in offshore trust. Aside from Ghislaine Maxwell, not a single high-profile associate has been charged with a crime. Jeffrey Epstein is dead. His island has been sold to a billionaire investor who plans to turn it into a luxury resort. They can paint the walls and change the furniture, but they can't change the history. The Epstein Files aren't just about one man. They are a mirror held up to a system where enough money buys you a different set of laws. A system where who you know is more important than what you did. For years, the Epstein list was the internet's greatest urban legend. People thought it was a simple sheet of paper, a who's who of criminals. But the reality is much more complicated and much more disturbing. In January 2024, a federal judge ordered the unsealing of nearly 2,000 pages of documents from a 2015 civil lawsuit filed by the survivor Virginia Giuffre against Ghislaine Maxwell. This wasn't just a list. It was a treasure map of deposition transcripts, emails, and flight logs. The documents mentioned over 170 people, but it's important to distinguish. Being mentioned doesn't mean being guilty of a crime. It means you were in his orbit. The political giants. Bill Clinton was mentioned dozens of times, while the files confirmed he traveled on Epstein's plane. They haven't provided smoking gun evidence of illegal acts, though his presence remained a massive point of scrutiny. Donald Trump was mentioned in depositions as someone Epstein knew, though the documents state he did not visit the island. The royalty. Prince Andrew remains the most damaged figure. The files detailed allegations of his presence at Epstein's home, allegations he has consistently denied but which led to a multi-million-dollar out-of-court settlement with Virginia Giuffre. The intellectuals. Perhaps the most shocking names were Stephen Hawking and Noam Chomsky. Hawking was pictured on the island for a science conference Epstein funded. Chomsky later admitted to meeting Epstein to discuss politics and academic fundings. The magician and moguls. Names like David Copperfield and Bill Richardson surface in depositions, painting a picture of a man who collected important people like currency. While no more people have gone to jail, the money has started to talk. In 2023 and 2024, the Epstein Files moved into the boardrooms of Wall Street. JP Morgan Chase paid $290 million to settle a class action lawsuit from Epstein's victims. Deutsche Bank paid $75 million. The Virgin Islands government sued JP Morgan, alleging the bank turned a blind eye to Epstein's human trafficking because he was a high-value client. These lawsuits revealed internal emails where bank executives joked about Epstein's preferences while continuing to process his cash. They didn't just know that they profited. Here is what's happening right now behind the scenes. The FBI reportedly seized hard drives and servers from Epstein's Manhattan mansion and the Caribbean island in 2019. To this day, the content of those servers have never been made public. Private investigators and survivors. Lawyers believe there is a master file, the actual video surveillance Epstein's allegedly used for blackmail. The mystery of the Zorro Ranch. Workers at his New Mexico estate testified about computer rooms and a massive surveillance hub. The Paris safe. When French police raided Epstein's Paris apartment, they found a safe. When they finally got it open, it was reportedly empty. The files aren't just history, they are active weapons. New York and other states passed Adult Survivor Acts, which temporarily lifted the statute of limitations. This has triggered a third wave of lawsuits. Victims are now suing the Epstein's estate and his former associates directly. The US Virgin Islands is still fighting to uncover how Epstein used their tax benefit program to hide his trafficking ring. And what of Little St. James? In 2023, it was bought for $60 million by billionaire Steven Dekoff. He plans to build a 25-room luxury resort. But for the survivors, the present condition of the island is irrelevant. The evidence isn't in the sands or in the buildings anymore. It's in the unredacted files still sitting in Department of Justice vaults. The Epstein Files are not closed. They are a living, breathing archive of how power protects itself. Every few months, a new batch of names leaks, a new flight list log is analyzed, a new settlement is reached. But as long as the video remains missing and the clients remain uncharged, the silence of Epstein Island continues to echo. The truth isn't just coming out, it's being dragged out, page by painful page. The names are one thing, but the evidence is another. Do you believe the FBI will ever release the footage found on Epstein's servers? Right, release the tapes if you want full transparency.